Hi everyone, it's me, Spring the Fiber Enthusiast, and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be crocheting up this hat, the Barker Par. It reminded me of golf, so it got a golf terminology name. All right, so let's go ahead and get into what you need to create this hat. All right, so to begin, you're going to need a darning needle, a stitch marker of sorts, a pair of scissors, a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, and 3 colors of your choice of yarn. Now, if you're going to follow along with me and do it in the same colors, everything I'm using is Red Heart Super Saver. I have just your regular black, a standard red, and the heathered gray. I believe it's heathered gray. Yeah, gray heather. So those are the 3 colors that I will be using for this. And we are going to begin. You can start with a magic circle. You can start with a chain 4 and slip stitch to your first chain. You can start it however you wish. It does not matter. However you decide to start, we're going to do a slip knot. For this particular project, we're going to do a slip knot, chain 1, 2, 3, and 4, and slip stitch to the first chain, like such. Now I will work over the tail so that way I can cinch it up close. You are going to chain 1 and single crochet back into that circle that we just created. A total of 7 single crochets. So in this case, you might put a stitch marker on your very first one, so that way you know that that is the first stitch of the round. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now you're going to slip stitch to your very first stitch where your stitch marker is. Now I'm going to show you this one time. Each and every beginning of the round, this is how I will begin. I am going to begin with a chainless start. So I'm going to do a mock double crochet. I'm going to draw up a loop, place my finger on the loop that's on my hook, holding it tight to my hook, bring my yarn hook around that loop, just like that. Bring it into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So we now have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, go through 2, and now you have 2 on your hook, yarn over, go through 2. Go ahead and place your stitch marker at the top of that stitch. That mimics a double crochet. Now I'm going to show you why I do that before we move on. Okay, so here is a hat that I've previously made, and every join is done the same, and beginning of the round is done the same. You can see, if you look real closely, where my join is. So you can see it is actually along the way here. But what you don't see is this line that curves around the hat from where the start and finish of my rounds are. So what I do does a mimic of a double crochet, and it makes it look more fluent in the round. So just so you are aware of why I make my beginning double crochet like that, instead of doing a chain 3 or chain 4 or chain 2 to start the round, that is why. Because it mimics a double crochet. It's easier to work in and into when you're working in the round, and it makes it look very nice in your project. So that is why I make the chainless start double crochet. Okay, so for this round, which is round 2, you're going to place 2 double crochets in every stitch around. So we had our chainless start double crochet. You place 1 more double crochet into that same stitch. And then in all of the remaining 6 stitches, you will place 2 double crochets in every single stitch around, bringing your new total from 7 to 14. At the end of this round, I will meet back up with you because we're actually going to change colors. All right, so we are on our last stitch here, which is 2 double crochets. Now on the very last double crochet, I'm not going to complete it. I'm actually going to bring in my new color, which is the gray. All right, so I'm going to slip stitch to that very first stitch. So I have the 2 loops on my hook for my last double crochet, and now I've picked up to slip stitch to that very first stitch. So now I'm placing my gray on my hook, pulling it through for the slip stitch, and pulling it through those last 2 loops for the very last double crochet. And I'm going to tighten that down, that red down a little bit. And now we're going to create our first double crochet for this round. And we are on round 4. So again, we're going to bring up a loop for our chainless start and double crochet back into that same stitch that we slip stitched to. Replace our stitch marker to our very first stitch here. And now you're going to double crochet into your next stitch. And 2 double crochets into the following. So that is your repeat. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. And 2 double crochets into the following stitch. You should end this round with 2 double crochets into the last stitch of the round. And we will change back to black at that point. All right, I'll return when I get to the end of the round. Okay, so to begin with the black, once again, I'm going to drop down the gray color that I'm on now. I'm going to pick up my black, and I'm going to finish this last stitch with the black. Now I'm just carrying it up. So now we're done joining our colors. We're just going to be carrying them up. I'm going to remove my stitch marker for the time being. You should have 28 double crochets at this point. All right. There we go. And don't draw your colors up too tight when you carry the yarn. Otherwise, it'll cause an issue with the outcome of your project. So I'm going to complete that last double crochet. Give a little tug there on my gray. Now at this point, you can bring these colors up and what I'm going to do is just bring the black around behind them and up. Now what that's going to do is just bring all the colors up to this row, so that way it's not just dangling big threads. I mean, there's already going to be a larger loop there, but not as long as it could be if you didn't bring it up and capture it. So I'm just trapping it up to the row that I'm on, or the round that I'm on, by looping it over the top of that black yarn. So I'm just going to hold them out of the way for the moment. I'm going to create my chainless start here. And then I'll show you what I mean by trapping them. Get my stitch marker on that very first stitch. So here we have it. We are trapped now. It is trapped within that black stitch. Okay, so we're going to carry on. Now you're going to place a 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. And 2 double crochets in the following stitch. So this is going to be your repeat. 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And 2 double crochets in the following. You're going to end this round with 2 double crochets into the last stitch of the round. We're going to continue with black for 2 rounds, this round and the next round. I'll be back at the end of this one and we'll begin the next round. So we are on round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Round 5. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch to that first stitch of round 5. All right, there we are. Now we're going to begin round 6. Round 6 is black again. So chainless start. Okay, so go ahead and place 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And 2 double crochets into the following. Your repeat for round 6 is 1 double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 2 double crochets into the following. So you're going to repeat that all the way around, ending with 2 double crochets into your last stitch. Do not complete your last double crochet. We want to complete it with the red. Okay, so once again, 1 double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches and 2 double crochets into the following. Repeat that all the way around. All right, so we are back to the red once again, and I'm just going to pull the red and the gray up like this. So that way I have all the colors up to the proper height. And now I'm going to complete my last double crochet and slip stitch to this first stitch all in one go. So I'm going to go into that very first stitch. There we are. I'm going to grab that red, pull it through and complete the last double crochet. Now I can tighten down my black up a little bit, tighten it down, keep that gray and that black up, so that way I can capture it within the next stitch. That way those strands of yarn are now captured up to the round that I'm on. So now I'm going to begin my chainless start. And this is another increasing round. All right, so now you're going to place 1 double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. And 2 double crochets into the following. So you will have a total of 5 double crochets that are single stitches. Then you will have 2 together in the following stitch. This will be your repeat for this round. 1 double crochet in each of the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches, and 2 double crochets into the following. When you get to the end of this round, we're going to pick up the gray to complete the last double crochet and begin our next round. I'll meet up with you when we get to the end of this round, which is round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Round 7. This is also our last increasing round. Okay, so as I said, this would be the last increasing round. From here out, we're going to work just standard 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around, with the exception that we are changing colors and continuing the same repeat pattern. 2 black, 1 red, 1 gray. So now we're going to pull that gray up. Okay, so here we go. We're going to slip stitch with the gray and finish that last double crochet all in one go, just like such. And then you can take your tail of your red and tighten down that last stitch a little bit. There we go. All right, now we're going to do a chainless start and begin our round. With gray. So I'm going to do a round of gray, and then I'm going to switch back to 2 rounds of black and then repeat again. You're going to work through your repeat one more time. 2 black, 1 red, 1 gray. So 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around. You're on round 8 right now. And once you have completed round 8, you will work through those 4 rounds one more time. Go ahead and continue working in the round, 1 double crochet in every stitch, keeping your same stitch count. At that point, I will meet back up with you and we will begin the brim of the hat. Okay, so once you have worked through the last repeat, we are at the last double crochet, and what we're going to do is pick up our black. So here's our first stitch here, and I haven't finished the double crochet. I'm going to pick up my black by slip stitching to that first stitch of the round with the black, and then finishing the double crochet just as we have been doing. Now at this point, you can cut away from your gray and red. Now don't put them away because we will be coming back and picking them up later to finish this hat up. All right, so now we're going to do a chainless start as we have been doing, but we're going to be doing these 2 stitches together. So the last stitch you made and the first stitch of the round. And we're going to front post double crochet 2 together. So I'm going to bring up my loop here, wrap it around my hook, and then I'm going to come back behind this last stitch of the round and front post double crochet 2 together. This will drop us down to a total of 48 stitches when you finish this round. This is going to begin a front post, back post. So that was front post. Now we do back post, front post, and you're going to continue front post, back post all the way to the end of the round. We're going to work this 1 by 1 ribbing for a total of 5 rounds. I'm going to come back at the end of this round and show you how to continue to join and start the next round, so that way you're continuing the front post appearance. I'll be back when I come to the last stitch of this round. All right, so here we are coming up to our last stitch of the round, which is a back post double crochet. Then we're going to slip stitch to the top of our first stitch of the round. Now we're going to do a chainless start and front post that very first stitch that we are slip stitched to. So chainless start, front post, double crochet. And that's how you're going to end and start every round for the next 4 rounds. So that will give you a total of 5 rounds in the black of front post, back post, 1 by 1 ribbing. At which point you can fasten off from your black, and we will begin the surface crochet part of the hat. Okay, so once you have your 5 rounds of ribbing, we're just going to bind off here. I'm going to chain 1, 2, cut away from my black, and you are done with your black. I'm going to pull that loop through, and I'm going to pinch that chain 2 and push it to my work. And then we'll come back and sew in the ends. Okay, so now we're going to begin our surface crochet to complete the hat. Okay, so we're going to start with gray, and it is worked in the same fashion as slip stitching. However, it's worked, your yarn that you're carrying is on the inside of the hat. So we're going to pick up, I'm just going to place a slip knot here. Leave yourself enough room to sew in your end. You will have a lot of ends to sew in. So what you're going to do is just pick 2 double crochets. It doesn't matter where. Just pick 2 gray double crochets. You're going to go below. See how it's below, but in between. And we're going to place that slip knot on our hook from the back side here. And you're going to pull it up through. Now what you're going to do is carry your yarn on the inside of the hat. So I've got it inside the hat. And when you're slip stitching, you're going to make sure that these stitches are loose enough that you're not shrinking the overall height of your hat. So we're going to go in between those two gray stitches, yarn over and pull through and through. Now, with that being said, you're going to have to adjust a little bit if your first loop is a little too much. Basically, what we want is the height of a double crochet. All right. So here we go. We're going to go up between those two double crochets, yarn over, whoops. Getting started is always the challenge. Yarn over and pull through and through. Now, as you see, that's right about the height of a double crochet. So we're going to do that again. We're going to pull up a loop, and you're going to go directly above between the next two double crochets. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. And again, you may, just check to make sure that it's not too tight. Now you're going to go directly above between the next two crochets, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Now this is just one of them things you got to kind of feel around and find your yarn on the inside of the hat. So we're going to work all the way up. Once again, try to make sure that your lines are going as straight as possible. You might have to set it down and take a peek every now and again to make sure. Just going to work up all the way to the very top. Just about there. Now, when you get to the very, very top, we're going to go into the center of the hat and pick up our last stitch, pull it up through, and now I'm going to go back into the center one more time, yarn over and pull up a loop and pull it through. Now what I'll do is reach inside and trim off not too long of a tail, but long enough to sew in. Just going to cut that. And now you just pull it the rest of the way through and tighten it down to the hat. Now what you'll do is, once you have all of them done all the way around, you will pull these through the top of the hat and sew them in on the underside. All right, so now we have our first one done. We're going to work on the second one, which is red. So we're only doing 2 colors. So here we have our gray one. So next is to skip 1 double crochet all the way up. You're going to go just to the left past 1 double crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and get the red and get it started. Same thing. Going to place a slip knot on our hook from the inside of the hat. Crochet hook from the outside. Find the space between your next 2 double crochets, go below the gray, grab that slip knot there, tighten it down just a hair. It doesn't have to be much. And now we're going to work up, going between. See how we skipped a double crochet here, and we're going between it and the next one. And you're just going to work that, following it all the way up. That'll help keep your second line a little straighter if your first line is straight. Almost to the top here. And into the center of the top of the hat. And back into the center of the top of the hat. One more chain. And now I can cut a little tail here. Like that. And pull it through and tighten it down to the hat. All right, so we have our first 2 surface crochet lines. Now your repeat is to count that center double crochet as your first double crochet. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Move over to that space. Here's the 7th double crochet, and you're going to go between it and the following double crochet and begin the gray surface crochet once again. And you're going to work it exactly the same all the way to the top. Work a gray strip, skip 1 double crochet, and work a red strip, just like we did here. And you're going to do that repeat all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then you go beside that 7th one. All right, I'll meet up with you at the end. Okay, so you have created all of your surface crochet all the way around. And here's what it looks like. You now have all of this hanging out the top. The object of it is to thread it through to the inside, turn your hat inside out, and begin sewing in your ends. Yes, there is a lot of ends here. But it makes a really cool effect in the long run. I absolutely love surface crochet for a lot of different things. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all of those through, sew them in, and I will probably be putting a pom-pom on this, but it's not necessary. It's entirely up to you if you want to put a pom-pom on it or not. So if you can see, without me pulling these through, how it all comes together at the top like that. So yeah, you can go ahead and, like I said, either leave it as is or put a pom-pom on it. Either which way is up to you. I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and create a pom-pom to put on this and call it good. If you have any questions about this particular pattern, please feel free to comment down below, send me an email, or let's get together in the Facebook group and create a chat, a post. All right, everyone. Be blessed, be a blessing, and until next time, bye for now.